Here's 10 things that we'd like to see in the next Surface Pro. The first thing that we'd like to see on the Surface Pro 7 is USB-C, of course. Now, we've seen USB-C pop up on everything across the Surface line, the Surface Go, the Surface Book, the Surface Studio, and even now on the Surface Hub 2S. But it's not on the Surface Pro yet. Well, with the new chassis redesign that's rumoured to be coming with the Surface Pro 7, we certainly expect to see USB-C. Who knows, maybe even just USB-C, and they'll finally give up those large USB-A ports. So get ready with your dongles and adapters, we're going to need them, but hey, at least we'll be able to charge our Surface Pro 7s with a USB power pack. Number 2, we'd like to see it thinner with smaller bezels. Something a bit more modern looking. Rumours are that the Surface Pro 7 will be thinner and even the keyboard will be thinner. There's redesigns to the hinge and also to the keyboard setup that are rumoured to be coming. Number 3, we all want it to be lighter. With the Surface Pro coming in at around 700 grams, add a keyboard, add a pen, you're up around 1 kilo. We'd really like to see this be a lot lighter, and with the latest processors and components, we expect that to happen with the Surface Pro 7. Number 4, the kickstand. Don't get me wrong, the Surface Pro kickstand is an amazing feat of engineering. The work that went into designing the Pro 3 hinge mechanism that's still there, refined a little bit on the Pro 6, is truly remarkable. However, we still find that people struggle to open the kickstand at times and get used to using it. And with the Surface Pro 7, the rumours are that they've made it a lot easier to open and close the kickstand. Number 5, better battery life. Who doesn't want better battery life? Number 6, LTE. Now, a lot of people are frustrated because there's no LTE Surface Pro 6. You can still get the Surface Pro 5 with LTE, and that's what I actually use. For me, having mobile broadband is essential on my device, and I'm very happy with the Surface Pro 5. The question is, why didn't we have LTE on the Surface Pro 6? And that's something we can probably go into at a later time, but suffice to say, there are good production and commercial reasons why Microsoft didn't do a version of the Surface Pro 6 with LTE, but I almost certainly expect it to be there in the Surface Pro 7 pretty soon after it's launched. Number 7, pen charging. Now, the 4A battery in the Surface Pro pen lasts for at least a year, so it's not a big deal, this one, and I kind of expect them not to implement this feature, but Microsoft did apparently have a patent on a charging technology for pens, wireless or inductive charging, kind of like what we see on the current iPad Pro. I'd love to see this feature implemented with the Surface Pro so that we never have to worry about charging batteries, but you know what? It's really not a big deal, and I kind of don't expect them to do it this time. Number 8, better pen attachment options. Now, on the Surface Pro 6 and all of the Surfaces back to the Surface Pro 4, we've had magnetic attachment points on the left-hand side of the device. 2 magnets in the pen, 2 in the tablet. And the Surface Pro pen has sat quite nicely on that left-hand side there. It's kind of weird that something seems to have been designed for left-handers instead of right-handers, but it would be really nice to have some more attachment points for the Surface Pen so that I can safely attach it to the right-hand side or the top of the device. So we'd like to see multiple points that you can attach the Surface Pen to. Perhaps Surface could even think about other ways to attach the Surface Pen, like enhancing the pen loop systems that we had back on the early Surface Pro 3s. Number 9, we'd like to see more cool pen stuff. Now, the Surface Pro pen, it's pretty awesome. It's got a button on the side, it's got a button on the back, an eraser. It's got some cool stuff, but we would like to see more integrations directly into applications and maybe even some of that cool touch button stuff that we see on the iPad Pro pen. Number 10, now this is something that the Surface team can't really do much about. We'd like to see better pen functionality and consistency right throughout Microsoft Windows all the way into Office 365. There's a lot of pen experiences built into applications across the whole stack at Microsoft, but sometimes the pen experiences are quite inconsistent, and that's a little bit frustrating. We'd like to see them pay far more attention in making the pen a primary experience for people that just works really well. So those are some of the things that we want to see in the Surface Pro 7. What do you want to see? Tell us about it in the comments below. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel to learn how to use your Surface Pro more effectively.